Hiya lads, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the most recent sentai I've finished, which is Kiramger, which I finished yesterday after I watched it all in 4 days. Whoops. I do have to warn you, this video is going to be filled with a shit ton of glaze. The meat writing is going to be on an entirely different level. So if you're not into that, I just recommend that you click off. But if you're willing enough to stay and listen to me ramble about a show that's about fucking stones and drawing, then you're more than welcome to. Kiramger was written by Naruhisa Arakawa and came out during a time where Sentai toy sales were bombing harder than Pearl Harbor. Oh no, that's gonna get me cancelled, fuck. Anyway, point is Kiramger really shouldn't have been as good as it was. Don't get me wrong, it's written by a Sentai veteran, but it came out when the world was kind of on fire and everyone was locked inside their homes. So naturally, tensions on the set were a bit high. Apparently the cast fell out every day or something, and Mio Kudo, who played Sayo, apparently thought that they were all going to disband, which, holy shit, what type of arguments are they actually getting into? Kiramger is basically about these rock people called Crystallians that have their realm destroyed by Jotunheim, which is this not very nice group of people. And there's these stones, I think, that have consciousness called the Kirame stones, and they pick 5 people to become Kiramagers. That's all I'm saying, is that Kiramger definitely plays it safe by Sentai standards. It's, what every Sentai does, a bit of episodic episodes here, and then, a bunch of, plot-driven ones here, and they kind of alternate. But I think what Kiramger does really well is just its cast. Watching this show, it genuinely made me question the validity of the claim that these actors all fell out on set, because their dynamic on screen is genuinely just that good. Honest to God, I would actually pay real life money to hang out with these people. They're that good on screen. As well as the fact that Kiramger is about as down to earth as a fucking spaceship, to be honest. This is, at the end of the day, a show about masked people who run around and try to commit various acts of vile terrorism against rock people. And I like the fact that the show doesn't take itself too seriously, but still has the decency to actually numb itself down and be mature in moments where it actually needs it. Because other shows definitely don't do that. Looking at you, Ninja, go fuck yourself. Overall, I actually think this is the best cast Sentai's ever had, and I'm honestly going to sound like a giant fucking simp here, but I genuinely think it's because there's 2 girls on the team. Look, I love the fact that we're getting more girls with better roles in Toku. Kamen Rider Revice is a prime example of that. But the thing is, in Kiramger, is the girls actually have some of the best episodes in the entire goddamn show, even though one of them gets, no development. Sena, who is Kirame Green, is probably one of my favourite rangers just ever. She's acted really well, and she probably has the best episode in the show where she's split into 5 different personality traits, and one of the personality traits runs off and tries to literally off itself. Wait, hang on, how is this a kid's show again? The episode itself is a really nice message about accepting the negative parts of yourself and viewing them as a positive thing, which I think is just overall a great message for kids to learn, especially ones that might be a little bit insecure. And overall, I think that's the main thing of Kiramger. Its messages are really clear. It's basically just be yourself so you can be the best version of yourself. And that's a message that personally kind of resonates with me, since I've been working towards a lot of goals in the past few years. So an entire Sentai that's kind of derivative of, sort of taking your best elements, but also acknowledging your weaknesses and turning them into strengths really resonates with me. Plus, not to mention, Juru is an artist like me. He's also a nerd like me. So realistically, I was always going to relate to at least one character in this show. The other highlight for me has to be Yellow, or Tamatomo. His character development is really clear. He basically goes from thinking Juru is some type of fucking disgraced otaku or something, to then in the finale literally hugging and crying him after he finds out Juru is alive after he's perceived to be dead by everyone. It's just little progression things like that I love in Toku, you know? On the other hand, not everyone in the show is perfect. Sayo, or Kiramger Pink, literally gets like 4 episodes to develop her character. Whoops. Thankfully, that development is still good, and they actually tackle one of the biggest things regarding her character pretty early on, where everyone kind of perceives her as perfect, but after she gets like amnesia or something, they kind of tell her that it's okay not to be perfect. You know, duh. Kiramger does this a lot, where it'll basically take a character's like surface level personality trait and basically challenge it in an episode where they're forced to kind of deal with that in a way that they maybe wouldn't. Best example is, I think, episode 3, where Shigeru has to like try and keep a cool head after he's put in a vice. It turns out he's not actually that cool. And like I said, Kiramger has the decency to dumb down and be like, hey, look, it's actually okay if you're not who you are on the surface level. The villains are also really good, although 2 out of 3 of them are redeemed, which I don't actually mind, because realistically, them being redeemed was done well enough to the point where it's like a best case scenario type of thing for me. So big up Gaza and Crunchula for being redeemed. Actually also really like Yodona, and I thought the way, you know, her kind of arc ended was also great. Emperor Yodon, on the other hand, scared the shit out of me, like really fucking badly. He was unbelievably intimidating for a modern Sentai final boss, and he also had a really cool design and a really cool concept where like he's 3 different personalities. And briefly, I'll touch on the mecha and the music, because why not? Honestly, this is the most compelled I've ever felt to actually go out and buy a full DX mecha line with like figures and a changer, because I just love this show so much. And the music, oh my god, the music is so good. It's so good. Yohei Onanishi performs the opening theme, which is just called Machine Sentai Kiramger, and you know you're never going to have a bad opening with Yohei Onanishi singing, and I think the ending is sung by Takashi Deguchi, who usually does like kids songs. I think the ending is a tiny bit basic, but it honestly works for this type of show. Although they play it in every episode, which is kind of weird considering that in the episode where Juru falls off a cliff towards the end, they dance directly after that scene. Probably not the best fit, to be honest, but it doesn't matter. There's also Kiramger Action by Psychic Lover, which plays, I think, twice in one of the very early episodes. Please go and listen to that. It's one of Psychic Lover's best songs. They absolutely fucking cooked. Overall, I'm giving Kiramger a fucking super solid 97 out of 100. Honestly, Sayo just needed a little bit more, and there were a few filler episodes I didn't really enjoy, and the 6th Ranger is kind of bland, but shush. And this show literally would have had a perfect score. Like, and to be fair, it's not entirely the show's fault, because COVID had a role to play. They dropped 5 episodes, I think, because Red's actor caught COVID. So we could have actually had more. This could have been a perfect show. Anyway, I'm just going to leave this little note here at the end to say thank you for all of the support I've had as of late. People are actually beginning to comment on my videos now. And whilst I don't ever intend for this to become like a, you know, big thing for me, it's just a little hobby so I can share my interest with other people. I'm glad that there are genuinely people out there who are willing to watch me literally scream my lungs off for 10 minutes straight, rambling about how people are looking at boobs on Reddit. yeah, and I'm also glad that many people have been giving like compliments on the way I sound. Personally, I think I'm way too high pitched for my age, and I find my own voice annoying. But I'm glad somebody else has described my voice as charismatic, because now I've grown even more of an ego than what I initially had. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next.